Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show. Hey, don't touch that remote. We got a great show. Well, not a great show, an important show. This is Fire Prevention Week. Well, prevent a fire. I'm telling you, it's anything that panics. All of a sudden you smell smoke or something, telling you panic, you don't know what to do. I mean, you should know what to do when the time comes, when you smell smoke or you see something, anything suspicious. I don't know. The fireman will tell you what to do. Okay, I know what I would do. I'd get out of there.
That's it. Get outside.
Okay. Now, my guest today is in Wayne 100 from Norristown, and he is the fire marshal for Norristown Fire Department. Right?
That's right.
Okay. Tell him your name.
Rich Lockhart.
Okay. Now, how long have you been in this job?
I've been in this job 31 years.
31.
31. Just getting
God,
started.
You look 31 years old. You're a young guy. Holy mackerel. Oh, God, I'm going to become a fireman. I look young all the time, right?
That's it.
Join the fire department. You'll look young all the time, right? You got girls, too, right? Women, fire?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, yes, we have career staff and we have volunteers. We do have volunteers that are female.
Oh, in other words, the police, the fire department, if I keep on saying police because I'm a former policeman,
Yes.
okay? So we're saying that you... people, if somebody wants to join the fire department, what's a scoop? What's a procedure?
Right. So to be a volunteer, there's 4 volunteer firehouses in Norristown.
And they get a training.
Yes. You come, all you have to be is 16 years old. You join as a
How
junior
old?
member, 16.
Okay.
And then 18, you can join as a full member. And the difference there is the 16, you can't go in a burning building. When you're 18, you can go in a burning building.
Go ahead.
But you come down. You sign up at whichever firehouse you decide you'd like to sign up at.
Yeah.
And we put you through the training. We provide all your equipment, and come on down.
Oh yeah. You know what?
Help your neighbors.
I'm a former policeman, okay? And I remember my Sergeant Burns. We always had to keep our hats. We went to the scene of a crime or something. We keep our hats on. I see now policemen go to the scene. They all got their hats off, and. For what? I think you're out of uniform, But I respect the state police. No matter when you see them making an investigation, they got their hats on, And so and the firemen, oh my God, the first thing they're getting dressed when they get to the scenes of the fire, they're ready to put the fire out. They don't worry about.
That's it.
Yeah,
well, they're very well trained.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this helmet. This thing weighs a ton. Oh my God. I know how to put it on my head like this. I mean, and then you got the raincoat.
That's it.
You got whatever.
Coat. We have pants, boots.
And then the rubber pants and all. Oh my God. Woo! And it's here.
So all the equipment.
It covers your ears in case you get near fire and heat. So, I got to give you this credit, respect for what you do. You endanger your life,
All the extra equipment we carry weighs about 60 extra pounds. And then we have to carry hose up and everything else. So you could be carrying 100 extra pounds with you.
Yeah, now
it's a very intense job.
There's the big hose with this. What do they call that? The 16-inch or
inch and a half, or inch and 3/4.
All right, and you had to have 2 or 3 guys to hold it because it would.
Right. And the bigger, you can go up to 2.5-inch line that you can hold. And you do need a couple guys, especially the 2.5, because you can flow up to 300 gallons of water a minute.
Right. And then, all right, now, one or 2 police fire departments have hook and ladders, right? Tell me about that.
So, they come in all different sizes. We have 2 in Norristown. We have one that's at the Fairmount that's 100 feet.
Fairmount? And
we have one at the Norris that the career staff, the Norris at the Cabin Chestnut.
Oh, yeah.
Right across from St. Pat's.
Is that it's hook and
that
ladder?
one has a 75
But it's not
foot.
as big as one of Farmers.
And not as big as the one at the Fairmount at Main and Astor. That one's 100 feet.
I remember there was a fire at Main and DeKalb. I think it was the Armitage Hotel. And I don't know, the fireman, when they're going up to the ladder, and all of a sudden he panicked, and he stood there. He could, for some reason, and they had to get him down. So know, it's sometimes, you know, the fear gets in there or whatever, you panic or something, you know, and so that's why it's always have to have your good training.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's what we do every day. The guys that are working
Tell me what your training consists of.
So to just be able to ride on a fire truck, you need to be a firefighter level 1 certification. That's 160 hours of training. You have to have CPR, first aid, and you have to have hazardous materials class. So it's about 200 hours of training just before you're able to get on the truck.
Yeah.
And then as you move along, if you become an officer, there's a lot more training involved. And then that's just to get you started. And then weekly, there's training for the volunteers. And just about every shift that the career staff works, they do training.
Oh, my God.
So,
all right, we got a question from the balcony up there. That lady with the green hat. She's here almost every show. And why should I have a smoke detector? Now, tell me about a smoke detector in the house. Why should I have one?
Well, you and I think it's a pretty simple answer, but some people obviously don't because
What's
we
that?
install them all the time. People think it's a simple answer. But let me tell you, when you go to bed, the first thing that goes to sleep is your sense of smell. You can't smell what goes on. So when you're sleeping,
I never knew
or
that.
if you're in another part of the house and a fire breaks out, that's able to warn the occupants of the house that there's a fire. That is why it is so important to have a smoke detector on every level of your house.
That is very important. All right, now, I understand sometimes the fire department makes a survey or so, and they come in put.
In fact, since this is Fire Prevention Week, all our guys are out this week canvassing different neighborhoods.
They're doing it now?
We're beating on the doors, and we'll knock at your door, say, hey, do you need smoke detectors? We're more than happy to come out. We'll check your smoke detectors that you currently have. We'll replace batteries. Or if you need smoke detectors, we'll provide them free of charge. And we're out there this week doing it. We do it every month. We pick a different neighborhood. Between the 3 platoons, they're out. We're constantly
Check my
out.
neighborhood at 1700 block of Powell Street.
We'll be up.
And then there's another thing that the fire department, a smell or something about this dangerous smell in the house.
Carbon monoxide.
What is it?
Carbon monoxide.
Yeah, in other
so
words.
that is right. So if you have a heater problem, or there's a problem with your stove, it can create carbon monoxide. And they make detectors to pick that up. You and I can't smell carbon monoxide, but these detectors will go off when there's high levels of carbon monoxide.
And that is from the coal or wood or something?
No, it's just,
where'd that come from?
It's usually an oil burner that if the chimney's
not
blocked,
functioning right.
or if it's not functioning properly, it can create carbon monoxide. So you want to make sure, and one of the things that we give out for free, we'll come out and install, is a carbon monoxide detector that's also a smoke detector. So you have both bases covered.
In other words, if somebody has a funny smell in the house, they could call and they'll come and check it?
Absolutely. Yeah, anytime you have a question, if you think there's carbon monoxide or you have an odor of smoke in your house, call 911 and have us come out and check it. It doesn't cost you anything, and that's what we're there for. You know,
ladies and gentlemen, you know, there's a lot of services out there. Now, yesterday, I had somebody here from the Veterans Affair, and they tell about what they're for veterans, you know, where they can, they have a shuttle that takes them to the hospital locally. Got a lot of things out there.
Absolutely.
That are helpful, you know. And so what you're talking about now is some of the
right.
helpful things.
That's
What else
why
can you tell me about Fire Prevention Week?
So Fire Prevention Week, it's a week that they picked back in 1925, and it was actually at the 40th anniversary of the Great Chicago Fire, which happened this week back in 1871. And that Great Chicago, remember the whole story with the cow that kicked over the candle? The thing that people don't realize, 300 people died in that fire, but that same week, there was a fire in Wisconsin that killed like 1,500 people. And this is the week that we kind of recognize that we need to do something about fire prevention. So it's whatever week that October 9th encompasses.
I want to give a plug to Chief Donald.
Chief Tom O'Donnell, yes.
He's the fire chief. Yeah, I called him, you know, and he said he couldn't make it today because I don't know where had something going on, and he recommended you come. And you're a great guest. And what is the job of fire marshal? What's the difference between a fire marshal and a fire chief?
Okay, so the fire chief is administrative. He's the one that controls the fire department. He's the idea guy. He would be the CEO of a corporation. So he comes up with the ideas and basically has the management team that's under him. In our case, it's our assistant chiefs are the ones that carry out all the day-to-day functions of the fire department. So my job is, my little piece of the pie is that try to prevent fires. I do building inspections to make sure that buildings are safe.
Okay.
We review plans for new construction to make sure that they meet code and that they're
In
safe.
other words, it's certain codes, right?
Correct. When they construct a new building, that we make sure our fire trucks will fit into the driveways, that we can get around the building, that people can get around the building, that they can exit properly.
Do you know, now we're at Northtown High School. Does the fire department have a map of the school? You know where,
Yes.
what school? So, you know, you say, well, you get there and the custodian used to be janitors, now they're custodians. You know, everybody got fancy names. So he can tell you where the fire is. If they say it's in the locker rooms, you know, the building's over here, over there, you got to help find it. So
Well, what's
you got
nice
to know
now
where it is.
Right, now with all the advances in technology, we're able to, as we're going to the fire, there's a driver and then there's the officer. We can actually look it up on a computer. There's a computer in the front of our apparatus.
Wait, run that by me again.
There is a computer in the front of the apparatus, the fire truck. So we just flip it up and we can see a map of the school.
You have that?
Yep, believe it or not.
How long you had that?
About 10 years that technology's been available.
Wow.
And it's getting better every day.
How about that? That is good. You know, when we have an invader gets into a place, I think that the fire department should be involved along with the police department, you know, especially when the students are all told to get out of the building, you know, and somebody has to take control out there. So they're being said, get some school buses and let them sit in the school bus rather than standing outside, you know, and you'll have more control. And then I think the janitor is one of the, or custodian, it should be on the ball and be able to guide some police, even though you have the map and the computer and everything, but still it's good to say in that direction there, turn right.
Well, I know that West Norton Township works a lot with Norristown Area School District, as does the Jefferson Fire Company that covers here. And they have plans for just about everything. And I know that they do drill with them and they test them out to make sure that they work.
I remember there was a fire up on Tremont Street when there was an explosion, I think.
Yes,
and,
I remember that.
One of the firemen got hurt.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's another thing. You're going into a house and you don't know whether it's some kind of gas heater. The guys have some guns there, the bullets, and bullets start shooting the heat. Yeah.
Well, that's what you all talk about training. You know, you talk about it's just, we make it so the guys don't have to think, that they understand what they're getting into, that they're not really putting themselves at great risk to, you know, go fight the fire, that what they try to do is as safe as possible.
Yeah. Same thing here. You need training almost like a nurse or whatever you say.
Right, we spend
You go into the house and then somebody's in there and the smoke got him, whatever it is, or it's fire. You have to give him first aid to get him out of there.
We'll usually bring them out first. And then our local emergency medical services company, Plymouth Ambulance.
You have first aid. You have first aid training.
Yes,
too.
all of our people have first aid and CPR.
And give them the breathing and all
Correct.
that.
We can do CPR. We
Yeah.
can give them oxygen. We carry the equipment on our trucks.
You know, I think Norristown has a great police department. Fire department. I keep on saying, well, we have a police department. It's good too. You know. Right now, Fire Prevention Week. The schools have a fire alarm, fire drill. Tell me how that is.
So we go out to
Do you ever find that somebody's not doing the right thing and you tell them what to do?
No, not in our Norristown schools. They really seem to do a nice job.
Everybody does a job.
They practice. We'll go in, we'll pull the fire alarm. We'll make sure that they evacuate the building, that the building's evacuated properly.
Time it too?
Absolutely. And they know because they'll practice. The schools practice every month. And this is just kind of a validation that they practice, they keep it up, and everyone does a spectacular job. And the schools that have the smaller children, will show them the fire trucks that week and give them little tours of our apparatus, show them what our guys look like with all their gear on. So it's a fun time too. It's just not a time to learn.
Good. All right, got another question here from the balcony. What is an evacuation plan? What is it? What kind of evacuation? Now, you go into the school and you say, I'm going to have an evacuation. What do you do? So everybody knows.
An evacuation plan is just, if you walk around these large buildings, you'll see that there's a little map, and it shows you how to get out of the building.
Oh, okay.
But what it is,
That's
it's
part of it.
taken, and you can do this at home, and we really stress that you do this at home. That you're in your bedroom, you smell smoke, how do I get out?
Yeah.
I try the door, it's warm, I open it up, there's smoke, I shut it. Okay, what's my second way out? I can go out the window and go onto a porch roof. And I know that because I thought about it before and I practiced it. So it's not like, you know, it's something that you've thought about before, so it comes second nature. That's why we really stress to have an evacuation plan, just not to get out of public buildings that you're in all the time, but to get out of your own home. So you have a plan. So you want to make sure you have a smoke detector, you want to make sure you have a plan, and you want to make sure when you get out, you stay out. Don't go back in.
Oh, stay out.
Stay out, right. There's nothing that's worth risking your life for. Let us get there. Tell us what it is that you want to go back in for, and we'll get it.
How about a restaurant? Now, let's say restaurant has the evacuation too, you know, because...
Well, that's nothing more than going in and seeing where the exit signs are at.
You go in there and tell them the safety...
No, we'll go out and inspect them and make sure that the exit signs work, but we don't do evacuation plans in restaurants.
Oh.
But you, as Mr. Public, every time you go out, you should always recognize, where's my closest exit? Because the closest exit may not be the way that you came in. There may be something that's closer.
All right,
so you always want to think about, how am I going to get out of here if there's an emergency?
I'm going to sit down and say, I want a ham and egg sandwich, and what's my evacuation? How can I get out in case of fire? What door do I use? Okay.
You're absolutely right.
Is the door open? Is it locked? Okay. Good. You sure? Yeah. And if I don't do it, I'm going to pay for it.
You're absolutely
I'm gonna
right.
Eat the ham and sandwich and soup and get out. Now, another one. All right, we got this here one here. Another one. Here, you read this. Read out loud.
Where are the firehouses in Norristown? So we have 4 firehouses in Norristown. The Montgomery is at Pine and Friedley Street up in the north end. It's the Montgomery Hose. And then starting out on the west end, we have the Hancock, which is located at 840 West Erie Street.
Erie and Stanbridge, right?
Correct, Erie and Stanbridge right there. Move down a little more east is the Fairmounts at Main and Astor. And then kind of situated in the center of town is the Norris Hose, which is at Chestnut and DeKalb.
Yeah.
Right next to CVS and across from St. Pat's.
That a humane, that's down there.
Right.
They make vodka down there now.
You're absolutely right. 5 Saints Distillery now.
But it's nice. You get down there and you see they have all the different firemen.
Correct. They have there's a lot of history from the Norristown Fire Department in there.
Good. So down there, stop down there. And I understand they're going to have a restaurant there too. Oh, I like this one up here. That guy with that brown jacket. What are the most common causes of house fires?
Well, our experience here in Norristown, the number one, even in this day and age, is smoking.
What is it?
Smoking. People smoking, and then
people still smoke.
Right, and they leave a cigarette, or they fall asleep, or something happens, and
they still do that.
Can you believe it? Yeah, in this day and age. And the very close second is electrical fires. In Norristown, we have these beautiful old homes, but they were built, a lot of them, before electric. So think about, each room has one receptacle. So think of all the things we have to plug in now. We have our cell phones, our computers, TV, cable box.
Too much in one plug.
Right. So what they do is they run extension cords to try and make up for it. And you plug too many things into an extension cord, what happens? You have a fire. It heats
worse.
up.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do you recommend?
Get an electrician and have him put in more receptacles.
That's it.
Do it the right way. Take the extension
cheaper.
cords out. Right. We see such a problem with extension cords.
But how about people in the kitchen leaving
kitchen
things
fires?
open?
Absolutely. They'll put some oil in a pan and they'll leave the room, and you hear this time and time again. I just left for a minute. Well, that's all it takes, is just leave for a minute. You come back in and it's in flames. So you always want to make sure remember to have that plan to get out, but also have a plan if you have a pot on the stove burning. Turn the heat off. Put a lid on it. That's the easiest way to put it out.
Put it out.
Don't touch the pot. You end up getting burnt. And we see it time and time again. They touch it, they drop it.
Right.
Now they have burns on the front of their legs and their hands.
And then you got a real problem.
Correct.
Right. Okay. All right, now, sometimes when there's a fire and people are not home and they come back and they see that their house is on fire and they stand there and they want to go in. They want to go in.
Yeah, they
And
can't
you
go.
have to have the crowd control, and that happened here in Norristown. Tell me something about on Markley Street.
The young man on Markley Street, yes, so they went back in, and that's why that's such a cornerstone of our fire prevention and our fire safety effort is. We don't want anybody going back inside. If it's a pet or a family member or whoever's, make sure you tell our people when they get there. There's still somebody inside, my pet's inside, I have valuables. Let us know and we'll retrieve them.
Right.
And that's because if you go back in, you don't have the equipment, you don't have the training, and it's incredibly dangerous.
You may not come out.
Absolutely right.
Maybe you walk in and be carried out. Okay. What is the biggest danger for your profession as a firefighter? What is your biggest danger?
Well,
now, you know, you're married?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I guess your wife will start saying a little prayer when you leave the house?
Yes, she does worry about me. So when I have two boys.
Sure, everybody worry. I worry about it because I'm paying your wages. And I want to keep you healthy. I want to keep you, make sure you do your job.
Well, one of the biggest dangers to firefighters in the United States is the biggest risk is having a heart attack. Heart attack, stroke.
Yeah.
Because remember I was telling you about that 100 pounds of equipment. Yeah. So we could be sound asleep, and then the next minute we're out fighting a fire. So your body's going from 0 to 100 in a couple minutes. So that's an incredible stress. And an awful lot of guys, they don't take care of themselves, they don't eat right. So there's been a really big push, and even in our fire department.
You got to be in shape.
Right, you see guys eating salads now. They're not eating cheesesteaks.
Do you get a routine check, a physical, once in a while?
I do, but there's nothing that's mandated by the municipality yet. But we're working on it.
I don't remember what police department, but I remember this one police officer, I think he was a desk sergeant or something, and he never went out on the field. And something happened to, I think, one of his relations or some kind of problem, and he gets out, gets all excited, he gets a heart attack because he wasn't, he never did any movement. And then all of a sudden he got excited, panicked and everything. So you got to keep in shape.
So statistically, right, that kills about half. There's about 100 firefighters die every year. About 50 die from heart disease, strokes, stress. Yeah. There's about 25 or 30 that actually die fighting a fire, inside a fire. They get lost, they fall through a floor, something like that happens. And then surprisingly, the other way firefighters die is responding to the fire. They die in automobile accidents.
Yeah. Now, when there's a fire, you get on a fire truck, it's a danger too. You're hooking on there, you're putting clothes on, and that may fall off.
Well, no,
Does anybody ever do that?
Those days are long gone. We're all closed in the cab. Everybody has to have a seatbelt on. If you don't have a seatbelt on, there's an alarm that goes off, and it's piercing, so we make sure everybody's belted up, and it's a lot safer than it used to be. There's nobody that rides on the back step, nobody rides on the side like back in the day. Yeah, those days are gone.
I was really surprised to hear that people are still smoking, and they smoke in bed, and it gets fire and cause a problem, whether a hotel or their own home. It don't even make sense, I want to tell you, you smokers, a family that smokes together chokes together. So remember that. And then this one guy said, you know what? You smoke, and then you get cancer if you smoke. And the guy says, well, they come out with a filter. One filter, less chance of getting cancer. And they one filter. So this guy says, double filter. And then, less chance of getting cancer. So this guy, he couldn't put 5 filters in a cigarette. He went like this, and he got a hernia. that's the way he went. So that's a Social Security joke. You'll get it when you're 65. Okay. So the dangers. Tell me something about some of the fires here. We've had some where almost a family got wiped out. Tell me about that. I think it was on DeKalb Street someplace.
Yes, unfortunately, back in 2016, we had a fire at 825 DeKalb Street. And that wasn't a family. It was
how that happened? What was on fire? Where were they?
It started downstairs. There were 2 beautiful little girls upstairs, and there was so much smoke. We're not sure exactly how it started. Most likely a discarded cigarette. Again, I talk about cigarettes. But these two little girls just didn't.
It was all smoke.
Right, there was not a smoke
They
detector.
didn't get burnt.
Nope. No, in fact, our guys, right after we got there, were able to rescue them out of the second floor, but unfortunately they couldn't be resuscitated.
Would a gas mask help in any way?
Well, not everybody has a gas mask. Our guys
Not a
certainly
gas
had
mask.
their...
I mean, like
right,
one of them things they use, like the doctors.
Right, no, that wouldn't... Because there's a lot of carbon monoxide in that, and it doesn't
Yeah,
filter it
it'll
out.
go right through.
So,
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Right.
So historically, unfortunately, in Norristown, we have quite a few fire fatalities. We just had one in February at Karen Terrace Apartments. Another very sad, it was a very small fire, but again, it was a smoking fire. It was a discarded cigarette. And the poor woman didn't make it out. So do you see, it's like a broken record. Discarded smoking material, electrical fires.
Smoke.
It's
Right.
over and over. Please be safe. Have that smoke detector. Have that plan.
Right.
Get out, stay out.
Get out of there.
That's right. Absolutely right.
Get out of there. Don't wait and say, well, I'll wait till the fire. Say, don't try to fight the fire. Get out of there.
Absolutely right. Let us do our jobs.
Yeah. Well,
If you have a fire extinguisher and you've been adequately trained and you have a way to get out if the fire extinguisher doesn't work,
yeah.
you can give it a try. But I'm telling you, get out, stay out, call 911 when you get out, and let us do our job.
Yeah. All right. Tell me a little bit more about 111.
911.
911. 111. I'm giving you a new number. That's a bookie's number.
So a couple things about 911. It's very simple. It's for any emergency. Police, fire, ambulance, anything that you need. You call 911, within a couple rings, they'll pick the phone up. They'll ask you what your emergency is. The one thing that you have to remember, though, they're going to ask you a lot of questions. They're going to ask you, what's your emergency? Where is it at? What's your name?
Yes,
what do you see?
right.
But remember, as they're talking to you, as soon as you say, I live at 123 Main Street, my house is on fire, that call automatically is being dispatched.
And up at the communications center
Correct,
up in Eagleville.
Absolutely right.
That phone tells you where the phone call's coming from.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely right.
And they go right to it.
That's it. So stay on the line, and it gives us a lot of, the more information you can give to the 911 operator,
wouldn't it be good?
they get us the information.
I remember my brother had a restaurant there on Ridge Pike near Roxborough, and what happened? He left the iron on the ironing board, a wooden iron board, and the iron went and it right through, and it burned and went through the board down into the rug. And I went upstairs, I smelled. I panicked. I was a policeman, and I panicked. I called on to get the number. So I think it's best to have something written right there, what my name, where I live, where I'm at, this, that, and everything, the time, whatever you need.
Well, that's very important to teach your kids, too, because now there's younger and younger children have cell phones and everything. It's really important that they know what their address is. So if an emergency does occur at your house, that your children know where you live, and they're able to call 911 and at least tell where they live. So
I got another question here.
Fire. What's that?
What do you got a relation up in that there? You're related to him? What beside the firefighters? What do the firefighters do beside in the police station? What else you do? I know you play Santa Claus during Christmas time. You go around with it in the fire truck.
We're involved.
What else do the firemen do to help the community?
We do all kinds of stuff. So they let's see, we do turkey giveaway.
Turkeys at Thanksgiving.
Turkeys at Thanksgiving. Christmas time, we get involved with, the parents will give us gifts and we'll deliver them to the children at the homes, which is great. The kids love it. Santa Claus is pulling up in a fire truck and handing their gifts out.
That's great, yeah. Norristown's only 3 square miles.
That's it.
3 square miles. And the corner of Fernance and Powell is actually the center of Norristown.
Okay.
And I live a block and a half away from the center of town. And I think the fire department, we have it pretty well covered. The only thing we don't have one up in the north end. Up around New Hope up there, right?
But the
closest?
The station that's up at the Montgomery, that's very close to Powell and Fernance. So it's right around the corner of Pine and Freedley. But the one that can get everywhere quick is that one that's at the cabin chestnut.
What's the timing about from the time you get that call?
Our average response time from the time the 911 operator picks up the phone until a fire truck pulls up out front is 4 minutes.
All right. Somebody calls in and says a fire. What happens?
So the 911 operator...
Drivers go ahead.
Right. 911 operator sends it to the dispatcher. The dispatcher dispatches it. Our guys come down, get their equipment on, because you always want to have your pants, your coat, your helmet on when you get in the apparatus, because otherwise it's too hard to get dressed in the truck. It's too small.
Ready.
So out they go.
Out, you're ready. You're ready.
Right. Out they go.
You're ready to rumble.
You're right. You're putting your arms in your air pack. You're grabbing a flashlight. Your helmet's next to you.
Hey, flashlight.
Right.
Where? Got here. There. That turns around here. Does it go on? Hey, Rock, did it go on?
He likes the. There you go. You got it.
Yeah, the LED light. How about that?
It's never enough light.
Yeah. So that way you can see what's going on.
Absolutely right.
And,
so we get to.
And you also have emergency lights too.
Correct. Right? Lights and sirens.
You know, you got a lot of people up there that are concerned about this. You know, so here's one with the lady with the. Yeah, all right, the one with a lot of buttons on her jacket. What can we do as a civilian to help a firefighter? Now, that's a big question, but I'm saying, how can we help? Safe? Go ahead.
The biggest thing would be just support. The biggest thing you can do is make sure your smoke detector works. We're probably the only business around that's trying to put itself out of business. Think about it. If everybody had a smoke detector, there were no fires, we'd be out of business.
Oh.
So we're the only business trying to put ourselves out.
All right. Oh, we're gonna...
So that's the biggest thing they can do.
Yeah.
Help us out. Make sure that your fire alarms are maintained. You know, make sure your property's maintained so we don't have to come out and visit you.
Tell them people.
Make sure everything's maintained. Your fire alarm's maintained. Your sprinkler systems. Make your property safe. That's the way that you can help us.
Have a little plan.
Make sure you have a plan.
My name is Soto. I live at 1725 Powell. I have a fire. It looks like it's upstairs. I don't know. I sell smoke. I don't know what's coming from. Okay, there's nobody else in the house. There's somebody upstairs sleeping, and I got people upstairs. So please come out as soon as possible. Okay, I'm out. I'll be waiting for you outside.
That's right. Wait outside.
Have it written down because you. I know. I panic myself. I could. Believe me, I'm not kidding. All right. Well, we said what we could do to help the fire, right?
And that's the biggest thing is make your house safe, make your property safe if you have a business.
All right. Now, tell me what's on the front burner. What are some of the latest techniques or?
Well, the most exciting thing for us right now is
help make us safe.
We're in the process of buying a new truck, which will replace the 75-foot. It's a pumper and a ladder truck that's housed at the NARS, and that truck should be in by the end of this month, maybe early next month, and that'll replace the truck that's at the NARS.
Yeah, where will it be stationed?
At the NARS, at the cabin chestnut.
The cabin chestnut.
Yes.
You gonna have room for it?
Yes.
You know, I used to live a block away from here. I lived at 29 East Chestnut, and the NARS fires used to they used to block it from the alley there, Blackberry Alley, I think it is, and DeKalb Street. They block it off, and it'd be like a little block party, and there was chances and a couple little rides and ice cream and all that stuff. You know, it was great time. You know, and my mom used to give me 25 cents to go over and put it on number 4. Number 4. My lucky number is number 4.
So other things we've done, we just got brand new breathing apparatus, which are those air packs that we carry air in with the mask.
Yeah,
we just put quite a few of those in service.
Do you have any problem on the equipment? Who supplies you equipment? If you need some equipment, is the state, the federal, or what? How does that work?
The municipality. That's where your tax money goes to work. And there's a Firemen's Relief Association, which is fire insurance money. That's a long story, but most of it's tax money, and it's what we're able to go out and buy equipment. The federal government give any money? Yes, we do get grants. The air packs were bought with a grant, but they're very, very expensive. It's not like back in the day where the stuff was, an air pack now is $2,500, and we're out buying quite a few of them.
What do you
So it gets
think is
very
about
expensive.
the best advanced technique that came since you've been on?
Well, I would have to say the gear, the ensemble that we wear. When I first started, we had rubber boots and long coats. So now our legs are protected, our whole body's protected, but it's a lot lighter and it breathes. So when it's hot out, it's not as, you don't sweat as much.
Oh,
Or
okay.
it gets rid of, when you do start to perspire, it kind of gets rid of the moisture and it gets rid of the heat. It's a lot
Okay.
more comfortable.
Our half hour is over, and it's Fire Prevention Week. Fire Marshal Rock, shake hands.
Thanks,
And then
Hank. Appreciate it very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, fire prevention, be ready, be aware, and
Be safe.
live happily ever after, right? Okay?
Absolutely.
This thing weighs a ton. I don't know. Right. It's almost like the police have that there.
Oh, the vest now they wear.
Yeah. Oh my God! I had one on. I could just about. I put it on. I couldn't take it off. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming here. And
It's
ladies
my
and
pleasure,
gentlemen,
Hank.
please, all this information we put out there is for your benefit. It's your benefit, And so, anything else you want to tell me now for 30 seconds?
That's it. Be safe. Check your smoke detector batteries. Have a plan. Get out, stay out.
Check your batteries. Have batteries for flashlights in
Right.
case your lights
and
go out.
remember, we come out and install smoke detectors for free. Give us a call. 610-270-2870.
Got it.
Come out and do it for you, man.
Okay, Marshall. What should I say? Marshall?
Rich is fine.
Huh?
Marshall's fine.
Marshall fine?
Yep.
You sure?
Sure.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing us to come in here. And it's been a pleasure. And I'm so happy this is an education helping you. And you know where your tax money's going. We're using it for a good cause. Okay, so until we meet again, keep bobbing and weaving, slip and slide, left hand high, stick and move, and keep your trunks off the canvas. Fire Marshal.
All right.
Rich,
Thank
thank you so much.
Okay.
May God bless each and every one. Put out the fire. Thank you. You rock.
You good?
That was good. That was
All
really
right.
good.
Glad you
really
enjoyed
good.
it.
Would you like it, Rock?